I'm Tyson,
And I'm Pete.
and this is the Copper Lodge. Hey, well, welcome to Copper John's, the Copper Lodge. I appreciate you guys all joining us today. Today we got Pete White. Pete, how you doing, man?
Good, Tyson. How are you? I'm doing great today.
Good. I'm pumped that you're here. Finally, we finally got you on, and I'm excited for everyone to get to know you as much as I know you, because you have a story that I want everyone to hear. Because you have a you're special, and I'm excited for everyone to hear it. So
I appreciate you having me. You know I wouldn't call myself special, but I appreciate you saying that.
no, you're a stud. But why don't we say hi to everyone? First, we got E. What's up, E Rock? Appreciate you, man. And Ellie, I'll never get over it. I'll say it till the day I die. Oreos and water do not mix. We got Mark. Mark was the first to comment on the post that announced that you were going to be on the Copper Lodge, and he's really excited to see you and have you on. So, and then we got Travis.
I
How
love
you
Mark.
doing? Yeah, Mark's except he likes the Cowboys, so we have a problem.
Yeah.
What's
What's
up,
up, everybody?
Travis?
I'll just say a generic hi to everybody because I can see there's a ton of people in here, so not to single
Hey,
anybody out.
was it you who talked about how you worked at Gillette Stadium as Patriot Stadium, right?
Yes, sir.
So was it you talking about Gillette Stadium and when you met
Mr. Brady.
yeah, Tom
Yes.
Brady?
Yes,
Dude,
sir.
okay. So we're gonna have to bring that up. I wasn't even thinking about it until just now, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a cool story. We gotta have everyone know that. So what's up, Eric? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining today. We got Mr. Wolverine. I call him Mr. Wolverine because I just like the Wolverine. I think it's cool. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming. We got Billy right here. Billy's going to be trying to make it. I know you're going to be trying to make it to Jackson Hole with the Copper, the Copper John's retreat, and Billy's excited to come too. I think he's never been to Yellowstone. I'm like, dude, you got to see Yellowstone once in your life.
Yeah,
What's up, Bill?
I'm looking forward to a nice trip like that. I haven't been able to do really any traveling at all, so
Yeah,
be nice to see a bunch of people too from the community.
And I'm so glad that you were able to get the vaccine so that now you can travel and not worry about that type of stuff.
So, yeah, hey Dave, that was touch and go for a while, but
all right, the Bearded Jedi. I have never seen you. Is this a new name, or and you've been here before? Or are you brand new, Bearded Jedi? Like, appreciate you joining us. I don't know who Bearded Jedi is. I love the name though.
All right, Jason. I apologize. I have to get up now.
No, totally fine. I'm saying hi to everyone.
I'll be right back.
His mom's dropping something off, so it's totally fine. We got Mr. Chef. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. And then we got Steven. Man, you're always up, man. I appreciate you always joining us. And yeah. So then we have, I'm just checking everyone. Jason, how you doing, buddy? Jason is another one that's going to be attending the Copper Retreat in Jackson Hole. I'm excited. I'm really excited to meet him. Josh, how you doing, buddy? Jason, how you doing, Jason? If you guys haven't checked him out on Etsy, his products are also sold on our website, but you can definitely check him out on Etsy if you want something else. But his soap holders and his display holders are on Copper John's, and I love his work. He's really good at what he does. All right, let's see who else we have. We have Dagan. How you doing, Dagan? Heading into work for a 40-day inventory. Dang, man. Good luck. That doesn't sound fun at all. I'm just checking, making sure. Still got him. David, how you doing, buddy? I appreciate you joining us today. And we'll go from there. Dylan, how you doing, Dylan? Hope you're doing well. We still need to chat one of these days. Mr. Dan B, how you doing? Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to have to tell you guys stories, but it's not about me today. But I'll talk a little bit more on Wednesday about how Disneyland was, how it was with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. And it was really fun. I was shocked. All right.
I'm back.
Did I lose you?
No, can you hear me now?
So did I lose you, man? Are you?
No, you shouldn't have.
Yeah,
I'm here.
you're frozen on my side. I don't know if it's my internet.
I'm moving on my side. Can you hear me all right, though?
We there?
Can you hear me?
Okay, so I might have to move to my phone if I can see and hear you now.
You can hear me now? You can hear me, Tyson? Hi, everybody. I guess while we wait for Tyson, I'll say some hellos. Oh, both screens.
I don't know what happened.
Can you hear me okay?
It is my internet. So we're going, if I have this problem, I'll just switch to my phone.
Okay. Can you hear me all right?
Totally. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool.
So anyway, I appreciate everyone joining us today. So Pete, why don't you tell us a little about who you are and a little about yourself?
Okay. So I live in New England. You guys, I live in Massachusetts specifically. I'm 40 years old. I spent most of my life in the Army. After I graduated high school, I joined the Army, and I spent 15 years in the infantry. So if my answers to some of the questions tonight you guys have are, I guess we'll call it short and sweet. That's my military bearing coming up. But I spent 15 years in the infantry, and I was deployed 3 times. So, and so I got out of the military in 2016. So I've been out of the Army for about 5 years now. So, but majority of my career, job wise, was that.
So with you being in the Army for 15 years, what made you want to enlist and join the military?
Well, in high school, I initially wanted to be a police officer, and I thought the best way for that route for me was if I joined the military. One, they would pay for college. 2, I would get experience with weapon systems, so-called security protocols or SOPs, procedures, standard operating procedures. And I figured that would be a good way to get a little bit of background while I was, going to college to do that. I ultimately, didn't do that. I just stayed in the military, which for me was one of the best decisions probably the best decision I ever made for a couple different reasons. But that was the main reason, was initially to move it to the career of some type of law enforcement. And so that's probably the main reason.
All right, I'm switching over to my phone. Give me just 1 second, man.
Oh, we got 2 Tysons and 1 Pete.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, this is. this is me with the green screen. So what happened to my internet? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, so what happened to my internet is it went out when we were in Disneyland. And so we came back and we had not switched out our old internet. So that's what I was using, but we had issues with it. So it is what it is.
Mhm.
We'll go with it today. I ended the stream when I was on Disneyland on accident. And so we'll just do this. It's not doing well. So, and let me switch it like this. Switch that so I can. This is just so that not everyone has to see my. Welcome to Lives 101. Sorry, man.
Yeah, it's
So
no big deal.
So you were explaining why you enlisted in the Air Force or the Army.
Yeah, so in high school, I went to a Catholic private high school. I didn't have the best grades. It was, a college prep high school. And, I played sports in high school and all that stuff. And, typical, not, I wasn't, anywhere near good enough to get a scholarship anywhere or anything for sports. So my grades were so-so. They weren't they weren't awful, but they were so-so. And I knew that I always, wanted to pursue the law enforcement thing. And in my mind, my one of my best friends growing up, his dad was a active service member. He actually was a pilot. He flew Black Hawk helicopters. And growing up, my friend Jeff and his family and his dad was like a father to me.
Okay.
And he always kind of wanted to steer his kids to join the military of some kind, whether it didn't have to be the Army. One of his kids did. But then when it came time for me to graduate high school and look for colleges, he always planted that seed in the back of my head that the Army would pay for my education. And he knew I wanted to, like I said, do some type of law enforcement, and I could get some experience in the military with weapons and self-defense and procedures, whether you call them standard operating procedures or security protocols or all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was a big influence in that. And so graduate high school, between my senior year of high school and my first year of college, I joined the Army, and I joined the infantry. Because to me, the Army, you can have in the military, you can have any type of job you want that you can think of that is here on the civilian side, they have in the military. But to me, when I think of the military, I think of a soldier. I think of the normal infantry foot soldier, the guy on the ground. And so when it came time to join, the infantry is also where you get the most experience with multiple different types of weapon systems. Whether that's mounted means in some type of vehicle, and dismounted means on foot.
Okay.
So in both aspects, just because obviously there's individual weapon systems that you have as a person, and then there's vehicle weapon systems that are only pretty much capable of being in a vehicle. So he was a big influence, and so that's what I did. And I wound up, going to basic between my senior year of high school and freshman year of college, and took off from there. I just never ended up pursuing the law enforcement thing because I loved doing what I was doing in the Army.
Yeah, you were there for 15 years.
I got to get the experience in the multiple weapon systems. I got to lead a team, lead a squad. Got to how would I say this? Stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely stay in shape, because as an infantry soldier, your main weapon system is your body and your brain.
So what
And
was the
staying in
workout
shape.
regimen when you were enlisted? What was your workout regimen because of that? Because I assume it's different than other like the Air Force and things like that.
Well, yeah, the Air Force, the Marines, Army, Navy. They all have their what they call physical fitness tests. So in the Army, it's
Yeah.
called the APFT, right? The Army Physical Fitness Test. Nowadays it's changed, but back then, you had to max out doing so many sit-ups, so many push-ups, 2-mile run for your age. And if you didn't run all the time, or you didn't, do sit-ups, push-ups, stay in shape when it came time to do those tests, you won't pass.
Well, and
You
as
know,
I would imagine
you
like everyone knows that you were in for 15 years. You were a part of probably a war, if not a few wars, and you have to stay in shape and you have to be ready to go at any time because you never know when it's going to happen. Because it's not a matter of if, it's when, and that's always the
right.
case. Because we have to protect us and we have to protect our interests and things of that nature. So, yeah. Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You were
Sure. No,
so.
I was.
No, keep going. You have a wonderful story.
Yeah, so I spent 15 years in the Army. I was deployed 3 times. Each time in the Middle East. I was deployed to Egypt, in Israel, Iraq, and Afghanistan.
No.
So three deployments. The first deployment was a peacekeeping mission in Egypt. It's basically, my job over there at the time was to observe and report on the Israeli and Egyptian military. So it wasn't a combat deployment, but it was still the Middle East. Bad things happened.
Absolutely.
And it was my first time leaving the country. It's probably second time leaving the country, we'll call it, because I did get to go to Spain when I was in high school. But it was my first, real life, this is for real. It will hit you, because you do training, you do your schooling and all that, and at some point it's going to happen, and you're aware of it, but everybody could end up in different spots. So I wound up in Egypt and Israel first time, and then it progressed from there, then Iraq, and then the last one, Afghanistan. So I got to see the pyramids in Egypt. I got to see Cairo, go to Cairo, see them.
Dang.
Got to go to Jerusalem in Israel. Got to see the city of Eilat in Israel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So for that deployment, since it was a peacekeeping mission, I guess they have what's called, or they had what was called MWR days. So
MWR?
my job, yeah, which stands for Morale, Welfare, and Recreation.
Oh.
And yeah, and so my job over there was to observe and report, and I was on an outpost for a month at a time. And then you would go back to the main fob, and then you would do basically base security. So you'd go away to the observation post for a month, and then you'd spend a month on the fob. And on the fob, you do 1 week of, say, post security, 1 week of squad training, and then 1 week of what's called QRF, where you're the quick reaction force for whatever happens on the fob or around the fob. And then the 4th week is the 3 MWR days. And then you get the final 4 days to prepare to go back out to the observation posts.
Okay.
That are scattered around. Yeah, so it cycled through like that. And so some of the, and everybody got to go on some type of MWR trip. You didn't get to pick. You put a list down of where you'd like to go based off of where the trips would go. And you got either selected for ones you wanted or ones you didn't want. And I luckily got to go twice. So 1 trip was to Israel, 1 trip was to another spot in Egypt, to Cairo.
That's really
so that was good. I got to see the country, got to see I guess you'd call it the touristy sites, but
yeah, you got to experience life outside of the military a little bit.
Right. So that.
So, quick question for you. So, you had just since retired 15 years into it, and then something happened, right? You want to kind of explain to everyone a little bit what happened? I'm not necessarily going into detail because, like I said, we have an hour, and I really wanted to. You showing me chart for your chart. I don't think anyone. You have so much testing. Like, I'm shocked that you're not any type of reviewer, just because how well you have it down. But I really want to talk about that too. So, but before, I really want everyone to understand kind of what, now forgive me, you know this better than I do, but it's called Guillain-Barre Syndrome?
Yeah. People.
How do I pronounce it?
People pronounce it Guillain-Barre or Guillian-Barre. I mix it up all the time. Sometimes I say Guillain-Barre, sometimes I say Guillian-Barre. It all depends on how the actual doctors say it back to me sometimes.
Okay.
But so essentially what it is it's a neuromuscular autoimmune disease, and it's very rare. What I've been told from the doctors is that it affects 1 in about 500,000 people. There's no cure for it, but they can treat the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And Guillain-Barre in general is, like I said, a neuromuscular autoimmune disease. So what that does is it affects the nerves in your body. And what happens is you usually end up getting sick with like a cold, right? You get over the cold, and then a few weeks later, you could have numbness and tingling. You could have vision issues. You could have speech issues. You could have coordination issues like I had. And so essentially what happens is if you think of your nerves as like wires, right? And inside that wire is the copper, right?
Yeah.
And the plastic sheet that goes over every wire, right, protects that copper. And what the disease does is it strips that basically protection over the end of the nerves, which causes the numbness, tingling, paralysis, vision issues. In Guillain-Barre itself, what it does is it will affect the nerves, and therefore it affects the nerves leading into the muscles as well. So Guillain-Barre itself has different variants. I have what they call the Miller-Fisher variant, which primarily causes balance issues. And the variant, depending on what they say that you have, if you ever get diagnosed with it, like I was, there's different variants of it. And depending on the variant and where on your body it's like most affected, is how they come up with the different names of the variants. But overall, Guillain-Barre causes basically the symptoms I mentioned, and then it can cause respiratory issues as well. And people die from it, from the respiratory side of it. It literally will prevent you from breathing.
Didn't you say it was something a lot like ALS?
Yeah, I guess it's a cousin to ALS, because of the paralysis factor. Because also what happens too is it affects every person that gets it differently.
Yeah.
So my short version of this story, I woke up the day after Christmas in 2016. I had just gotten out of the Army literally a week and a half prior to this. I get up to go to work, and I went to get out of bed, and I took 2 steps, and I didn't have any coordination in my legs. If you've ever seen those old those old German war videos where they're on the parade field and they're marching with the straight legs out, that's what my legs look like when I tried to walk. So that day I knew something was wrong. And I was totally fine the day before. Totally fine. So I wound up getting taken to the local VA. That's about a half an hour here from here. And then I got sent in to Boston.
And mind you, you drove yourself. I want everyone to know this. Like, I know you weren't going to say that, but you drove yourself.
Well, I drove myself from where I was living at the time to my mother and stepfather's house because they were close by.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that you did that.
Yeah, I was.
Most people would have called the parent.
Yeah,
you.
I was stubborn because I was still refusing to believe there was something wrong with me. Yeah, so I was stubborn. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did. And they wound up taking me to the local VA, and then the VA transported me into Boston. And I was in Boston for 41 days or 42 days. And so they took me into Boston. I had a blood test and a spinal tap that night. And they did the blood test to confirm the diagnosis, what they thought it was, because they had asked me certain questions when I got to the local VA. And I had never heard of it before. Never heard of the disease, didn't know what it was, didn't know anything about it. And it was a challenge in recovery. The first day in the hospital, I literally lost the ability to walk that next day. And I was having vision issues. And they were wheeling me down to the eye doctor in the wheelchair. And as that was going on, I thought I sounded different when I was answering questions from the nurses. And it turns out in like a 24-hour period, I lost the ability to walk. I had vision issues, so essentially lost the ability of my eyes being able to move up, down, left, and right.
Dang.
And then while getting wheeled into that appointment with the eye doctor, my face was starting to become paralyzed. So I was having issues being able to talk. And had a ton of occupational therapy, physical therapy in the hospital. Like I said, I was in there for, I think, 40 days, 42 days. I was able to walk out of the hospital with a cane when I left. They told me if I had not come into the hospital the day I did, I probably would not have made it. because it
Yeah, I
eventually,
don't know how you made it to begin with. To be honest with you, you went through a lot.
yeah, and they said it would have been because it had affected my respiratory system.
Hmm.
And while I was admitted in there, I had to have respiratory checks every hour. I had to do these, blow into those tube things. I guess some type of measuramental
Isn't that
tools.
crazy? They want you to rest and relax, but they don't let you rest and relax.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember, I've never been in the hospital until just recently, and I'm like, we need you just to rest, relax, taking deep breaths, use this, and then next thing I know, I'm like, they're poking proud of me every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. It's not it's not pleasant being in the hospital for any length of time.
No, it's not.
Uh,
But man,
but
I'm so happy you're doing well. I mean, you're putting the boundaries. You're able to be by yourself. You're able to take care of yourself. Everything that that you want to do as a man, you can do yourself, and I think that's just amazing. And one thing I really want to talk to you about is everyone. We talked about the Army. We talked about the syndrome or the disease that you have that you've learned to cope with and work with and thrive,
mhm.
because I think everyone who knows you is thriving. But you mentioned to me in the past that you just absolutely love history. So what is it about history that makes you just want to continue reading about it, studying about it, and also what type of time period is your favorite? I know Dan was just sitting here and he loves history as well. So what is it about history that you just enjoy?
I think it's so growing up, I always had trouble reading books and stuff, and my grandfather was an avid reader, and I would get to take some books home from his house, and I would get to read the stuff that interests me. A lot of it was fiction, but a lot of it was also fiction-based books on actual history or historic events
Okay.
that were turned into, a fictional story for the book. Um, but it would be just knowing, just wanting to learn about how things have progressed.
Hmm.
Whether it's stuff about the country and the Constitution, and as a soldier too, you kind of get sucked into. I'll call it sucked into because as a soldier, you and in the military in general, they want you to learn about, say, the service that you're in, that particular branch of services past.
Okay.
So for
I see
me,
that.
I'm a huge military history buff. I'm currently reading a book about the Navy's role in World War II.
Okay. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I can tell you the title of the book is called Pacific Crucible. It's
Oh, actually,
a
I think
thick
I've heard of that one.
a thick book. It's a trilogy. So there's three thick books. Um, but it would be that aspect. It would be wanting to learn about the past and wanting to, I guess, in a way, um, find out how much of it is, say, true, how much of it, say, is exaggerated, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
Because stories change over time. Things get left out, things get added in. Um, and it kind of leaves that little section of, say, your thoughts where you wonder, is this really true?
Hmm.
If this did happen, um, why? If this part of it really didn't happen, um, why was it changed, or why was it added in? Or so for me in history, it's just kind of been programmed into my mind, I guess, I guess because of the military.
Yeah.
And knowing that, I know what military life is like. Reading the military history books, it reminds me of some of the situations I was in or I can relate to. Reading it all.
I've never actually read any of the historical fiction novels, but I've watched a lot of those type of movies, like Saving Private Ryan, 1917, Inglorious Bastards is if you ever seen that, that's like one of the best movies ever.
Yeah,
just because I love the ending and how it works and all that. I'm like, oh, if only. But there's a lot of things like that, and watching Saving Private Ryan and seeing what they went through. And I don't know if you've ever seen Pacific. It was an HBO miniseries, same as Band of Brothers.
Yep.
I've watched those. I've never read any of those. The books I read are a little bit different, but I think that's just those things intrigue me especially.
What was I going to say? The part too about history too is I watch the History Channel mostly, the Discovery Channel, because there's also things that I know part of TV's made up or whatever, but it gets your mind wondering about specific events and what happened at those events. They do their best to explain why it happened and what's going on and where they're at, say, in the current time of, say, that event. So it just interests me. It's like a natural way for me to wonder about it.
I always like to see if we repeated ourselves, because they say history always repeats itself, and it does. And also, I always get a kick out of myself. I'm like, if I were to go back in the past and know what I know, would I ever be able to help anyone? And the only thing I was like, boil your water. Other than that, I don't know how plumbing works. I don't know how an automobile works. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm like, there's nothing a lot I could do, and it just makes me laugh because I'm just like. But I've always thought that when you're watching History Channel and stuff like that, you're like, is there really anything I would be able to, that type of thing? Any wisdom I could portray? And I'm like, no, nothing. So, what made you start growing a beard?
So,
and I don't know if you want to relay why you don't have a beard, because I think sorry.
I will. So essentially what happened was I got sick there in the hospital and I couldn't shave. So it just grew out.
Jason, why don't you post that, Jason, real quick, and I will pin it. Sorry, Pete.
And so it's that simple. I was in the hospital for that time period and I couldn't shave. So I get out of the hospital and I had a beard. And I got home and I had to go move in with my mother at her house because I could not live alone when I got out of the hospital initially, because I still had a lot of the occupational therapy and physical therapy to do from home, because I wasn't going to be working, and I couldn't. I essentially couldn't be on my own because something would happen. And I wound up having issues with my beard. Like, it was itchy and bothered me. And that was when I, looked into YouTube and beard oil, and I found out about Scuba and Dan C and Matt from No BS. And initially I had always thought beard oil was for the hair on your face. And for me, I have kind of combination skin. Some days it's dry, some days it's oily. And in my mind, I was like, well, why would I put oil onto my face when my face is already oily? Right? But then I ended up, on YouTube here, watching the videos, understanding more about it, and needed to use beard oil to get, the beard itch to go away. And that's legitimately, from getting sick is how I actually found out about, all the major reviewers out there. And so, like I was telling you the other day, that's kind of why the beard community is important to me, because if I hadn't gotten sick, I probably still would have grown out my freedom beard.
Yeah.
But it probably would have been longer. It probably would have been, or I shouldn't say longer, but I should say taken longer for me to actually do. And so, sometimes when things happen in life, bad things happen, and good things can come out of it.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely.
And, there's multiple other reasons why getting sick has been a blessing and a curse, but a blessing mostly. And one of them is I found the beard community here. And I'll always remember
and we're grateful for it. You're a good man, like I was saying at the beginning.
And so that's how my beard journey started. And I wound up, like I said, looking at those three people in particular's videos. And I went out to Walmart, Target, and I got my first beard oil, which was Beard Brand's white label.
Oh, nice.
Of the Lumberyard.
Ooh, that smells good. I've smelled it.
Yeah. So that's how my beard journey started. And as for why I don't have a beard right now, I made a mistake.
Like I said, we've all done this.
I made a mistake. I was doing my neckline, and I was using my Brio about 2 weeks ago. And I went to lean in and turn my head to get the lines correct. So I was doing my neckline and my back lines. And because of my disease or condition, I slipped. And I created a line that was technically up the side of my chin. And I was on the lowest setting on the Brio with no guard on it. So in order for me to look right, I had to shave it all down to that length. So that's what happened.
Yeah, it happens. Like I said, it's happened to the best of us.
I was upset. But you live, you learn. And now, new year, I guess a new beard. And you get to re-experience the journey all over again.
Yeah, see, Wolverine, Mr. Wolverine, I always call him. Pete, trust me, brother, I can tell you a story about how I jacked up my beard in July. Yeah, and I mean, even I've done it. Dan has done it where he had singed his beard. I mean, there's multiple stories everywhere where people have just made the mistake of cutting too much off and stuff like that. But luckily, facial hair grows. Not as fast as we would like to, but it grows, and you're able to take care of it and all that. See, it's already going, so. No problem. And Nick, we're going to do a giveaway on Nick Wednesday, just so everyone knows. He's such a stud. And Ben, when we $20, we're going to do a $20 gift card on into the stream. But real quick though, so we talked. You just told us that you have like a dual skin. Sometimes it's oily, sometimes it's super dry. So I'm actually really interested. How has like oil and butter and overall beard care helped your skin?
The oil and the butter. The oil obviously has taken away the beard itch, right?
Yeah.
I can honestly tell you that since I started using products the right way on a regular basis, my beard hasn't itched in it's been 5 years. So as long as you know, you use it regularly, properly, and you learn. Everybody learns their own way. They learn how much to use, how much not to use. What's like, Dan's covered it plenty of times in his videos.
Yeah.
And as you use it more, you get used to what's right for you.
Yeah,
And
you
I
learn.
would say that everybody's beard's different, obviously. And the products, I'm glad I found the community because it gave me information. It taught me how to properly take care of myself.
Uh-huh.
Because everybody wants to take care of themselves to some degree.
I think everyone does.
And you get to learn about great companies like yours,
Appreciate it.
and other companies out there. And as you try stuff, what you like, what you don't like, and it goes that way. And knowing, say what ailment, say if you have an ailment, how to fix it.
Yeah.
If you get dry skin, you need to use probably a little bit more beard oil during the day, and then make sure you put butter on at night. Especially here in the winter, I can definitely say that because I have a heater right now that's blowing directly in my face as I talk to you. and I know later I'm gonna have to put some butter in tonight because my face is gonna probably be dry.
So, what is your beard routine? Because you don't have to get up and show us, but I don't think anyone understands your elaborate formula that you have. Because it's crazy. When you showed me yesterday, I'm like, wait, what?
So it's simple. I get up in the morning, I do my shower routine, and I put oil in. Right now, I don't have to really use a comb or a brush or anything because my beard's so short right now. But I put oil in. I wait 5 to 10 minutes, and depending on the day, right now, like I said, I don't have to use butter every day. Right now, I'm strictly like an oil person. But I always use butter at night. So during the day, it's just usually oil right now. And then at night, it's oil and butter. And as my beard gets longer, it's going to be oil and butter in the morning, and then oil and butter at night.
So if you had, we have 10 minutes until we all go over to congratulate Mo and do his 3-year stream with him. So what advice would you give a new beardsman? Because you've been, like you said, you've had a beard for 5 years, your freedom beard. What advice would you give a new beardsman?
Definitely be patient. Definitely, if you're looking for answers on questions on skin issues, definitely go on YouTube, look up people like Dan and Matt from No BS and Scuba's around. You got Mo, you got and see if you can get your answers that way. When you're going for products, they'll also obviously recommend products, but take it easy on the products at the beginning, because that's when you're probably better off getting an oil, right? And then if you want to try a balm or a butter, get that balm or butter in a unscented. Because you're still learning, you're still seeing what scent you like, what scent you don't like, and in order to get the best, I guess, bang for your buck and save money, you can go at your own pace and try stuff out. Try one company 1 month, maybe try a different company next month.
Smart.
I remember when I got started, I was only able to afford essentially one beard oil a month. And that's what I did. 1 month I would buy from someone that I watched reviews on and heard about, and then another month I would try someone else.
That's great advice. I like that. And then also, then you're not spending a ton of dollars and stuff like that on something that might not work for you. So, what trends do you see? I've always asked this to people, but what trends do you see happening this year within the beard industry?
What trends?
Yeah,
Okay.
and do you see anything that, or things that you want to see trending or happening in the beard industry?
As far as trends go, obviously butter is here to stay.
Yeah.
Because it's gotten so much feedback and great reviews, and
And that
you know,
goes
you
to all
got,
you guys in the chat. Also, what trends would you like to see within the bearded industry?
and then you got like for example, your gray series, and you have other companies putting out different types of oil for people that have more of a grayish beard.
Yeah.
And to note too, like, you don't have to have a gray beard in order to use those oils. But I would see see the trends in the carrier oils changing. I think
Okay.
that no longer is it going to be just your basic castor oil, jojoba oil, um, um, the almond oil, and the regular carriers you see in I guess we'll call it I don't want to say generic, but a beard oil off the shelf and say a pharmacy store. You're going to see more of the exotic, more of the probably not well-known oils. And then it's going to take people time to research that stuff and see what it is, and learn that way. And as far as maybe new products, I'm not really sure. I know that whiskey and hardtack has that hard puck of a shave soap, or not shave soap, a beard wash that looks like a shave soap. And unless you get companies coming out with conditioners or conditioners or stuff like that with the like biotin in it. That's what I would see.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to whatever it is. It's fun to learn, and it's fun to see, and make sure that don't anyone have any of the FOMO, the fear of missing out.
No,
because it's you got to trust the process of learning what's best for you and enjoy that while it's going on, whether you're growing the beard for the first time or you have some experience growing one.
Well, yeah, and see, and I have just kind of what you're talking about. You bought from one at first. You bought from one company once a month and type of thing. And so, I have a subscription process, not for fear of missing out type of thing, but more for, hey, you don't have to. And then I'll email them and say, hey, you can adjust what you want every 30, 60, 90 days. And then also you can adjust what you're getting. So if you got English code one day, you can go and get, pulleys the next time. And so it's just, so that's kind of, I see what you're saying about fear of missing out, but a lot of people feel like the subscription service that helps that problem. So, all right, we don't have that much longer. So I want to do Would You Rather History Edition, because you are a history buff. So first one, everyone, please answer. Would you rather be a pharaoh of Egypt or an emperor of Rome? Dun, dun, dun.
Well, let me see. I've been to Egypt. I know what it looks like, know what the weather's like. Me personally, I would rather be an emperor of Rome.
See, he says Romo, but he means Rome, but he's a Dallas thing. Rome, Pharaoh.
Yeah, because I think of Rome and I
Pharaoh.
think of the warriors of Rome, and the movie 1300, and I just feel like you're more of a hardened individual as a emperor, or I guess an emperor of Rome. And it's not about the riches, not about whatever that emperor status would bring you. It's more about being a part of that type of society, being part of Rome. I would just think that would be just so cool.
I would too. I think that's a great answer. All right, next one. Would you rather be Mozart or Columbus?
Well, as an individual talent, it's great to be like a painter, but I would probably want to be Columbus because I would want to explore the world.
It's a great answer. I feel the same way. I think the music that Mozart created and all that kind of stuff is amazing. But
I said painter. I was thinking Michelangelo.
Oh,
yeah, Mozart as a music, and I love music.
All these guys say Mozart, saying I'm Columbus. However, they don't have Dramamine, so I don't know if I could travel like he did. Dude, after Disneyland, I'm like, yep, can't do this unless we stop at Dramamine. And their rides are soft, if that makes sense. They're nice and clean and all that. So next question. Would you rather be the Pantheon or the Great Wall of China?
I'm going with the Pantheon. I don't want to have anything to do with China.
Well, the Great Wall of China is like, it's
right now for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
from the everybody getting sick and all. So
yeah,
I've had my I've had my share of health issues, so I'm good with having any health issues.
So would you rather
traveling? Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. So would you rather attack a medieval castle or defend one?
That's
a tough one. Defend it.
That's a tough one for me because I would want to attack a castle, but I would have more pride and more determination in defending one. And I think that's what maybe most military people would probably feel the same way.
Yeah.
In defense of your country, or in defense of your family, or in defense of a loved one.
Yeah, I think defending and having that barricade, so to speak, that castle, I think that would definitely be a benefit. So last question. And then we need to end just so we can all zip over to Mo's. But would you rather train like a Spartan or an Olympic athlete?
A current Olympic athlete? I'm going to go train like Sparta.
Why is that?
Because I feel like the world has gotten soft. In general.
Okay.
I think back when, like earlier in time, it was a lot harder to do things. And you had to work harder back then. I think that a lot of society now and technology and all that and has become so advanced that it's taken away some of people's effort. And everybody, this is my personal opinion, but nobody has that want for, they don't want any delayed gratification anymore. So the way I look at it is, back then you had to literally earn every inch, every step, every, you earned every outcome, or earned every, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess, every opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have the mental capability or the physical capability, you didn't succeed.
And I would have to say Sparta, just because physically right now there's no way I can train, but I can learn how to work out and try to be my physical best with that. But hey, Pete, it's been an amazing show. I really do appreciate you joining us and letting us know a little bit more about you and your triumphs over your current situation, and just you're definitely an inspiration. So I appreciate your time and your generosity with it. So thank you, man.
I appreciate you having me on, Tyson. I do.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Thank you to everybody that watched tonight. Appreciate you coming in. I'm not a huge fan of talking about myself.
And that's all the show is talking about you, man.
So if anybody's got questions for me, they can hit me up on IG, especially when it comes to products or scents or stuff like that when it comes to the beard stuff.
Absolutely. So I appreciate it, man. Everyone, you have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys.